various locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the 40th anniversary season of the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Nice to have you with us as we're going to Dover, Delaware, a banked 1 mile concrete monster where we'll be doing 400 laps this afternoon. Hello there. Thanks for joining us. It's the four-headed cheese monster, Todd Bailing in Greendale, Wisconsin, joining you this week. My three partners, beginning with Brian Schmidt of Utzberg, Wisconsin. Hey, bud.
Morning. The great state of Wisconsin, where it's 80 one day and 40 the next.
Yeah,
great. You traveled and you didn't even have to move.
Trumpelo, Wisconsin's own PJ Noodleman. Hi, PJ.
Hey, happy to be here.
And, of course, our producer, director, and all-around radar, Dan Margetta of St. Francis, Wisconsin. Hey, man.
Hey, good morning. Good to be back.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, you spent the week in Nashville, didn't you? What was in Nashville?
And what did you bring back for us?
Yeah, Dan, other than some great stories.
Yeah, great stories. But I just decided to take a vacation that didn't have nothing to do with racing. My whole summer is going to be loaded with races. It'd be kind of cool to go do something, have fun. So sat at some rooftop bars, listen to some music. It was a good time.
And drink.
One day.
Well, they always say if you've been drinking, it's a bad idea to text. Well, we were all very, very amused with your texting. So thanks for that. Kyle Busch, very amusingly, won the pole at 162.191 miles per hour. He hasn't done a whole lot of notable things in race cars recently. Well, at least not cup cars. And this is good for him and good for their program, kind of charge everybody up. Although we still have 400 laps to run at this place, and, we need to get all those issues that have been plaguing not just the 8 car, but his teammate, the 3 car. They show flashes occasionally, but they certainly can't put it together for a long race. At least that's what I figured out last week after I picked Kyle Busch at Talladega last week. By the way, Dan, congratulations. A rare occasion. You actually picked the 45 car to win last week, and Reddick did on the last lap. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't know where I say Talladega, you just pull a name out of the hat. And
yeah.
That's pretty much what that was. I guess you get lucky once in a while and pick one out right.
And we'll talk more about the Talladega race later in the program, but it certainly is an evolving sport and strategy and all that sort of thing, which has been, kind of odd, but that's how it works. Hey, Fox Sports 1 has the race today. The green flag is at 1:11 this afternoon. They're looking at a perfect day for racing, 70s and 5% chance of precipitation. So the stages will be at lap 120 and 250 of the 400 lapper that is the Dover race. So big fun coming ahead of us. They did race there already this weekend in the Xfinity Series. Oh, Carson Kvapil had us going there, didn't he? We thought maybe in his second race he was going to win, and he ended up second to Ryan Truex yesterday. Nice little driver. I'll tell you what, Carson Kvapil's got a nice future as long as he can afford to keep himself in a ride, seems like, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was
stay away from Hill.
Yeah. Good thing Austin Hill was out there. One thing I got to say about those Xfinity cars, though, is if you've watched all the races this year, I mean, that Xfinity car puts on probably the best racing in all of NASCAR right now. And it's amazing. I mean, we hear all the complaints about the next-gen car and all that stuff that they have. But, boy, that Xfinity car, I mean, it's every week it seems to be that they've been putting on a good race, and yesterday was no exception. And, boy, you really scratch your head and wonder, why can't we use that type of car in the Cup Series?
Yeah. Isn't that something else? Why are they less safe than a Cup car? Are they more expensive to maintain than a Cup car. If the racing is better, maybe we would certainly do ourselves a favor. Are these? Have they ever used this same setup that they use in Xfinity in Cup? I mean, these aren't old Cup cars, are they?
I don't think so, Dan. Do you remember? I mean, there's some similarities to the car they had before, but there's still differences, isn't there?
I think a few small ones, but I mean, it's kind of the way they were. And then they went down this platform with this new Gen 7 car, and they're so far into it now. I mean, it came out really good, and it's really great on the 1.5 mile cookie cutter tracks where they were having problems before. And then now you just got to get it sorted out, I guess. But it is the Xfinity Series this year is far outperforming the Cup Series, I think, when it comes to excitement, drama, and just racing in general.
I wonder if they sit around the big oak table in Daytona Beach talking about any of this. I used to think, some of the best races were with the trucks. What if we just had 36 trucks with the same drivers and the same paint jobs? What kind of a show would they put on? And why do we have to have a Cup car? Well, that's why I'm not in the hierarchy of NASCAR to come up with great ideas like that. By the way, the ARCA Series raced yesterday.
Friday.
Yes, Friday. 24 cars. Brian, how long did it take to start lapping cars?
Less than 10 laps. And I mean, we talk about how spectacular the Xfinity race was. Well, the ARCA race was kind of the other way around. I mean, the couple of the leaders were up there mixing with each other, but if you're going to take ARCA someplace, I'm not so sure Dover is the right place because it's so fast and these kids are so green and such rookies that's almost one of those places where, I mean, you gasp watching them sometimes because these guys, I don't think they have any idea what they're getting into when they, pull out onto that track and the speeds that they go by. And boy, the ARCA cars, they were all over the place.
Yeah, I didn't see the race. There were 24 cars, I guess, that started. How many finished? Anybody know off the top of their head?
Well, there were 9 cars in the lead lap, and the 10th place car was 2 laps down.
Oh, good God. Carson Kvapil was third. Good for him. Connor Zilich won the race. William Swalich was, I guess there was a kind of a itch there between Zilich and Swalich. Somebody took Swalich out, I guess, huh? Brian, you saw it?
That part I did not see. Peach, did you see that one?
I did. He kind of tried to, he didn't go down into his lane. He stayed up trying to run him up high, and he ended up running him right into the wall. So, yeah. Well,
Zilich is a pretty highly regarded prospect. It just depends. Is he just another rich kid with some talent and some money? Good enough, apparently, because Spire has added 3 more truck races for the young man this year. But it'll be fun to watch the progression between the itches. Zilich and Swalich are. Hey, listen, I didn't say bitches. No, I said itches. We're going to talk about the bitches in a little bit here because this has been a crazy time of year for Indy cars. By the way, I'll just throw this out there. TV ratings last week. NASCAR was on Fox, so good for them. This is how you get lots of viewers. And it was Talladega, 4.3 million people watched it, versus the IndyCar series at Long Beach, which was televised on USA. They had a total of 300,000 viewers for that thing. That's you have more people just accidentally jumping channels and finding Leaf Guard commercials than there was watching IndyCar at Long Beach.
There were more people probably on the property throughout the week because that thing was packed. But it just goes to show NBC's ability once again to promote their product. I did not know the IndyCar race took place last week, till Sunday night when I got home and I'm flipping through my DVR and I'm like, oh, there's a new IndyCar race on here. They're just not. This is NBC and motorsports right now, and it's really kind of poor.
Interesting. If you would like to participate in the program, our number is 414-421-7901, and anything we talk about is fair game, or if you want to bring up something else, that's good too. We're here enjoying the Wisconsin weather. It's so much nicer than Arizona was. We'll be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Be at the Fair Park in Plymouth this Saturday night for an exciting night of racing. Wing Sprint Cars, Grand Nationals, B-Mods, and the Super 6 Late Model Series. Saturday, May 11th, You're Our Heroes Night. Free admission to anyone in law enforcement, firefighters, EMTs, and veterans. Pits open at 2, gates at 4. Opening ceremony at 5. The IRA returns May 18th along with the Plymouth Dirt Track Racing MSA Sprints, Wisconsin Wingless Sprints. On-track action at 5:30. We'll see you there.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Time to win some bonus bucks. Bonus bucks. Listen for your chance to win $1,000. Dollar bills yell.
Listen for the keyword Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and enter it on our website, thebig920.com.
Pretty bad accident last week. Eric Jones smacked the wall. It looked like he hit that wall harder than Dale Earnhardt Sr. hit the wall at Daytona. 70 G's apparently was what they measured it at when he hit the wall. Of course, you know, it's a different era, different safety features, and many of them are instituted because of the Earnhardt crash. So the good news is that Eric Jones is alive. The bad news is that he still broke his back. He has a compression fracture. It's not very bad. Well, bad enough to get out of the car. Corey Heim is in it. And they bring in Matt Kenseth, who has a pretty good record at this track, and to help out Corey Heim and be a kind of a sounding board for him and all that sort of thing. What was really odd to me is to watch that beautiful paint job on that 43 car come by in that Toyota. It seems like there's something wrong here. That just can't be a Toyota, can it, with that paint job? Isn't there a law somewhere? Guess not. So Eric Jones will have to hope that everything goes well for him. He's not hurting any worse than anyone else that broke their back, apparently. Tell me what that's like. Talladega, on the other hand, that's the one we got to think about. What was right and what was wrong about Talladega? We knew it was coming. We just didn't know it would be within 100 yards of the finish line. It was the Michael McDowell show last week. And now that it's more than that. It's more. They were driving at 6 seconds. Did I see that right? Can that possibly be right? 6 seconds off the pace just to save gas? Was it that slow?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's kind of the thing to do now in these speedway races is to make it the strategy work out right with the stages, and that everybody has to do that. And I don't think if you didn't have the telemetry on TV, I don't know if you'd really know from the stands.
You don't sit in the stands and say, gosh, they look like they're going slow. No.
The driver's got to know. That's just got to be frustrating driver-wise to have to race that way. I don't think I could do it. It'd be like riding in the right-hand lane and just doing the speed limit all the way on a 3-hour trip or something like that.
Yeah, think about
this
that.
This is what the new car and the new pit stops has done, because it takes longer to take fuel than it does to put tires on nowadays. The old car, the Xfinity car and the trucks, takes longer to put tires on than it does to put the fuel in. So if you're going to do a 4-tire stop anyway, it doesn't really matter. But now, because it takes so much longer to fuel the cars, and when they come in, the less fuel they have to put in, the quicker they can get going. That's why fuel savings is such a big deal on these restrictor plate tracks now.
So sometimes you got to slow down to go faster.
Yeah.
If they would slow down the pits, they could go faster on the track.
So the master manipulators that NASCAR has turned itself into, the way to fix this now is to add another stage. I know. We'll make them race harder for those valuable stage points. For crying out loud. We got to fix everything. Fix this, fix that, change.
They almost sound like the government, for crying out loud.
Yes.
There you go. Well, but the government throws money at it there. We're going to just add a stage. There's no money. It's just points, Let's do that. I'm not sure if there's a easy answer. But I'm sure that these very smart people, much smarter than we could ever be, are sitting around that big oak table right now trying to figure out what to do about it. And one thing they might think about, and what has come up this week, is let's figure out some new rules we can possibly use in the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. Now, I had to have this explained to me by one very, very important crew chief, who happens to be married to one of our staffers here. One of our staffers. That's pretty good, isn't it, PJ? The lovely Mr. Noodleman came on and kind of tried to explain what NASCAR's latest manipulation or experiment or whatever you're going to call it is going to be with tires coming up in North Wilkesboro. We're going to use a total of 4 sets of tires, 2 traditional compounds, and 2 compounds that they use for rain tires, except without the rain grooves. Do I have that right?
What it sounded like.
Yes.
Okay. So I think they're all going to start the race on the traditional tires. And you would think in the back of your head that you would want to save one of those softer sets for for instance, 15 or 20 lap dash, which may or may not actually be manipulated into the end of that all-star race. So the question would be, what do you do with the other 2 sets? When do you use them? And like the lovely Mr. Toby said, it's a little bit like when they use these different sets of tires in red stripe, yellow stripe, white stripe. They all do different things, right? In open wheel racing.
Yeah, they have different options. Certain tires are softer than others, but they wear quicker, and that's kind of the same thing here. You'll have an option tire that'll be really fast in the short run because it'll grip real great, but it's going to wear out in a hurry. And so you got to kind of figure out when you're going to use it, and to use it early on run or at the end if there's a late caution. You come in and put those on, you'll be way faster than everybody.
Well,
kind of what IndyCar does right now, and IndyCar has that. They have it where you have to run both. I haven't read here where it says that they're going to have to run both. I think it's just going to be an option for you. So it's going to be more up to the crew chiefs. In IndyCar, if it's a track that's very abrasive, they'll get their soft tires out of the way quick, and then they'll go to the hard compound, and that's what they'll stay. Same Formula One does the same thing. Formula One has 3 compounds, but they usually run 2 a weekend. But here on a short track, the strategy part is going to be kind of there for you, where if you have a late caution and you bolt them things on, you're going to be able to. Yeah, you're going to go. Now, the only thing is, in IndyCar and Formula One, you got plenty of practice to find out what the tires do. How much practice are they going to have here at Wilkesboro, and are they going to be able to have enough practice time to really see what the tire does? If they get an hour of practice, you should be able to bolt those on and see how many laps it takes till you start getting a big fall off. If they do the same 20-minute thing that we've been doing at all these other tracks, you're really not going to know, and then it's going to be a real crapshoot. So
we've been
I would kind of like to have that practice to know, but I haven't looked at the schedule to see if that's what they're going to be able to do or not.
I doubt they're going to have practice because it's the all-star race, so they'd rather just have it be a crapshoot for everybody because that's entertainment, folks.
It's entertainment, and we've been talking a lot about Indy cars, haven't we here? Well, you think that's crazy. They're slapping each other around with their little white hankies this week. The open-wheel bitches are just having a dramatic little time, aren't they? Let's talk about it when we come back.
Super Late Model Racing returns to MIS Sunday afternoon, May 5th. The Joe Shear Classic 200. See the stars and cars of the ASA Midwest Tour. Battle on Wisconsin's fastest half mile for $15,000. Plus Midwest trucks. Advanced discount tickets at MISRacing.com. Hear the UW Band perform the national anthem. ASA Midwest Tour plus Midwest trucks. The Joe Shear Classic 200. It's the biggest race of the year. Sunday afternoon, May 5th. First race, 2 o'clock. Madison International Speedway. Don't miss it.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
If you follow the Packers, Badgers, Brewers, and Bucks, you should also be listening to the Larrabee and LePay podcast. Wisconsin's legendary sports broadcasters Wayne Larrabee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, and Matt LePay, the voice of Wisconsin Badgers football and men's basketball, share their insights and those of top guests on what's going on with your favorite teams. Listen to the Larrabee and LePay podcast, available anytime on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Presented by UW Credit Union, here for every you.
God, I love the drama. Last week, we mentioned there were only 300,000 people watching USA for the Indy cars at Long Beach, but the drama this week, we got busted. I mean, not just any team either. This was Roger Penske's team. Joseph Newgarden was disqualified, right? I mean, he was using his push to pass button. He was manipulating the push to pass button feature, which is on Indy cars, apparently, I guess. Oh, no. Isn't that kind of hard to catch? Isn't that kind of hard? Why do we have rules? Why do we have a button if we're not supposed to use it? There's so much I have to learn about this IndyCar business. Let's see who could start straightening me out. I think, Dan, you understand this push to pass thing, don't you?
It's an Indy cars, and it's you get a burst of horsepower when you push the button, and you have so many. I think it's 200 seconds you have to use during the whole race. So if you burn it all up and you don't have it towards the end, but it's good to keep in reserve in case you need it to try to pass somebody late in the race. Now you're not supposed to use it on restarts, and the control tower at IndyCar has the ability to cut it off to everybody's car. They do it wirelessly through like a logger. Now what they found out at St. Pete's, they had a glitch in that tower, which showed cars were having push to pass that shouldn't be able to use it. And then when there was the Penske cars, and they found out that it's controlled by a code, and they did a test last August. They needed to have the push to pass available all the time. So they programmed in a computer code into that logger that controlled all the different things in the car, including the control from IndyCar tower to the push to pass. It's a code 310 is what the computer code is supposed to be, and that 0 means at the end that the control tower has the ability to cut that off. And
that's in the car. That's a computer in the car.
The computer in the car, and that code is in it. If you change that computer code to 311, that last one instead of a 0 overrides that ability, and suddenly you have pushed the pass when nobody else does because it's all cut off from the control tower. Now you're not supposed to use it on restarts, and that's where they found out back at St. Pete's on the last restart when Newgarden got the lead. He was on that button for 9 seconds. And so he was using it when he wasn't supposed to. And they went back and found the other Penske cars. I think McLaughlin had it for like 1.6 seconds, a little bit, and Power didn't use it at all. Well, Power didn't have it at all. So now when they went back and looked at other data, Newgarden seems to hold that button all the time, anytime. And they think, well, it's just a habit to do it because when you have it, I want to use it, and I can't think of when I don't have it and when I'm supposed to have it. I just push it down all the time. But it's a little suspect that he's using it all the time, and the other guys don't. From Penske, nobody else, even in the IndyCar.
Maybe he plays Mario Kart a lot.
And in his tearful press conference that he had, I think it was Friday, in Alabama, where they're going to be racing today, he said how he had thought, for some reason, his team thought that they changed the rules that you now could use it on the restarts, which they can't. Yeah, However, for that fancy-dancy all-star event they did at Thermal last month, there they could. So he says they think they were all confused. I mean, I watched that and I'm like, dude, I don't know if you're telling me the truth or not. I really don't. It's so screwed up. But my biggest question for the whole thing is that, we have all this technology. It's 2024, and we tech cars in all series to the nth degree, to the point where, if you're peeling a sticker, you're going to get penalized. If you push the car the wrong way in NASCAR, you get penalized. How does IndyCar allow these cars to go through tech and they don't know what code is in the car? Now, Dan, you say it's pretty easy to change, isn't it? So it would be hard to find it?
Yeah, it's because computer coding is very complex, and you got to know what you're looking for. And it's an easy – I get how they did it. It's an easy thing to do, and it's hard to catch because if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to find it, and other than the way they did when something else happened glitchy-wise, that kind of brought it to light. I mean, I don't know how you can do that.
But what egg on Roger Penske's face?
That is the key.
Good Lord.
I mean, he owns the IndyCar series, right? So here's the boss man. Listen, in the Navy, the captain can be in his cabin sleeping, and if whoever the officer of the day is runs the ship ashore, runs it aground, the captain loses his job, whether he's in the tower or not. So why is it that it's any different for an IndyCar team? Because Roger Penske owns the series? Well, he has a guy running his operation there by the name of Tim Cindric. So how might this possibly have anything to do with NASCAR? Well, if Tim Cindric loses his job, what happens with Austin, who has been underperforming on a regular basis? Will he be around very long? I guess the question at this point is, does somebody have to get fired, or are we going to just sweep this under the rug and say, we're sorry, we won't do it again?
Roger gathered everybody together yesterday, I guess, and had an owners meeting with everybody and took the blame for the whole thing and apologized for the whole thing. So as of right now, it doesn't look like that's something he's going to do, but we'll see if there's any more fallout that continues and any more questions of the integrity of the sport that continues going forward.
I will say, for being caught and after doing this investigation, so what they let out there was a lot. I mean, it's hard to see everybody that transparent before. This is how we did it. I mean, to explain the code. Basically, it said this is how you could do it how it happened. And usually, I don't think you let that much information out publicly. So I give them credit that way for being completely transparent.
But letting all that information out like that makes it look even more deliberately done, right?
It does.
Sure does. By the way, I mentioned it was at Long Beach. Brian, apparently I had that wrong. Was it St. Pete's? It was where this happened? He was caught cheating at St. Pete's, but they found it at Long Beach, right, Dan? Oh.
Right. They took away the win from St. Petersburg after the issue came to light at Long Beach. In the Long Beach warm-up or practice session, there was some kind of a glitch in the tower computer that allowed them to see cars that were using push-to-pass that shouldn't have, and that's when they...
Oh, the drama we get from that open wheel racing, I swear. We'll be back after these.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years, PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Be at the Fair Park in Plymouth this Saturday night for an exciting night of racing. Wing Sprint Cars, Grand Nationals, B-Mods, and the Super 6 Late Model Series. Saturday, May 11th, your Our Heroes Night. Free admission to anyone in law enforcement, firefighters, EMTs, and veterans. Pits open at 2, gates at 4. Opening ceremony at 5. The IRA returns May 18th along with the Plymouth Dirt Track Racing MSA Sprints, Wisconsin Wingless Sprints. On-track action at 5:30. We'll see you there.
The Central Division champion Milwaukee Admirals begin Calder Cup playoff action Thursday at Texas.
Foul center point, Delgado fires high. Rebound back in. Goal!
Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30. Face-off at 7 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
It's a wonderful day when we hear from callers we haven't heard from in a couple of years. Our old buddy, Mr. Angry, is calling us for the first time, I would guess, since somewhere in the teens. Mr. Angry, welcome back. Where you been?
I've been doing a battle with cancer, so sorry I couldn't call in.
Jeez. Well, we're
but
sorry
the
to
good
hear
news
that.
is I'm clean, so Mr. Angry will be around a long time.
Nice to hear it. You can join Dan in that department. Nice to have you guys.
I'm pulling for Dan. He'll do it. Got to have a good attitude. Anyway,
I'm with you. We've done it. I'm with you.
That,
we can high-five each other.
There you go. What's going on, Mr. Angry?
On this push-to-pass thing, it was unbelievably easy to pull off. There are 3 computers in those cars. There is the computer that's owned by GM or Honda, depending on which engine you're running. And those things are the holy grail, and they do not get touched by anybody but the manufacturer. Then there's a thing they call lap chart, which records all of the lap data, which is what you see on TV and what they display on the computer. And there's a third one, which is a data recorder, which the teams can program for what they want to record and what the data they want to see. The code was put into the into the data recorder that basically said, when you get the signal from the tower that tells you you can't use it, ignore it. And therefore, the data that was being sent out was blocked by this data recorder. So it was only at Long Beach where they saw something strange pop up, and they went back to the manufacturers and said, we need to see all your data. Okay? Newgarden is a damn liar. There's no way. These guys know when somebody farts in the stand and they lose 50 pounds of downforce on the front end. There's no way you get 50 extra horsepower and you don't know that it's working. They knew it, they did it, and they should be bagged for it. It's pretty much that simple.
Who gets the penalty? I mean, do you penalize the owner of the series, or do you fire Tim Cindric, or what?
Well, I agree with you. I think your head should roll, and the fact that none did really frightens me. This isn't just about IndyCar. If you think this is just an IndyCar problem, you're crazy. It's going on in NASCAR. It's going on everywhere because it's so easy to do. And the best part about it from the cheaters' point of view is there's kids in high school and college who can pull this off, and the series, with rare exception, won't find it. It's so easy to pull off, but the integrity of the sport's got to be kept there, and they've got to do something. So, and if you watch that press conference, he says the team thought that the rule was changed. They immediately went to McLaughlin, and he said, "That's funny. I never heard that in the meetings." And they go to Will Power, and they go to Will Power, his other teammate, and he said, "I know the rules. You can't do that." So it's clearly the thumb is on the scale because Roger owns it. And, there's bigger problems with that. He's become little king dictator and trying to control that. The teams are terrified of the guy. If you criticize the series, he comes down on them like crazy. I'll probably have a sharp-suited lawyer calling me on Monday morning for what I'm saying, but I don't care because I know what's going on. And if they want to make this public, I'm willing to debate anybody on it. But but again, don't kid yourself. It's going on in NASCAR too.
It seems to me, from everything you just said, Mr. Angry, that Tim Cindric is going to be the guy that's going to lose his job.
I don't think anybody's going to, because the press release Penske let out on Monday morning, and by the way, Penske's not spoken. And when they asked his employees, they said he'll speak if he feels like it and when he feels like it. This is the same guy who had Porsche, their chassis banned because it was made of carbon fiber, and the very next year he came out with a carbon fiber car. This is the same guy that spent billions of dollars developing a motor for 1 year to win the 500. He's maniacal. And, whether you like him or not, that's the way it is. But he
owns the series. I mean, come on, doesn't he make the ultimate decision on what happens?
Yeah, but you think he's going to tie the noose? Yeah, you think he's going to tie the noose and jump off his horse? I mean, come on. He only cares about one race, and that's the Indy 500. The rest of the series he doesn't care about. And Michael Andretti has already said he should sell the series because he doesn't care. I'm not an Andretti fan, but he's absolutely right. I mean, there's a race coming up at the Fair Park. Have you heard any advertising about it?
You will when it comes closer. Well, remember, it's at the end of August.
3 drivers were in town last week at local colleges doing promotions. Did you hear anything about that?
No, but then again, maybe for one reason or another, Lance Allen is not as motivated as he was before they told him they weren't going to renew his contract.
So when are we seeing Todd Bailing on TV?
Interesting. Mr. Angry, we certainly missed your voice.
Yep, have a good one.
All right, take care. This guy knows stuff, and I'm glad he's over his cancer and will be joining us on occasion. That's for sure. Couple of things. PJ, did you catch the reference to the Super Bowl this week during the NFL draft about possibly moving the date of the Super Bowl?
I did. They're talking about moving it where it could be in direct conflict to the Daytona 500. Now, it wouldn't be happening right away, guys. I think, what did they say? It'd be 2030 is the date, the year that they're looking at it. But still, it's one of those things that will send a shockwave through all of the NASCAR fans because Fox has the Daytona 500 and Fox is all about football. So now you'll have Super Bowl and Daytona 500 likely going head-to-head, or NASCAR having to kneel and pick a different weekend.
Yeah, they're going to – I mean, what you almost would have to do is go back to what you had before, where you ran the NASCAR season all the way up till the week before Thanksgiving. Right, Dan? Many years you'd be in Homestead, and the next weekend would be Thanksgiving, correct?
Right, yeah, I just stayed down there, and I was off Thursday, Friday next week anyways, just took the week hung out there.
And I don't know if that's what they really want to do and they want to go back to that, but they're going to have to start thinking about it. Fortunately, you're not going to beat football. If Roger Goodell wants to do something, he's going to do it. I mean, you get 275,000 people to stand around and watch him announce names. I mean, for goodness sakes, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but so football is the king and everybody else has to move around it. So fortunately, this gives NASCAR enough time to start thinking about what they're going to do, because I don't think there's any scenario where you're going to run the Daytona 500 on the same day as the Super Bowl.
And briefly, they're already talking about making the NFL season longer anyway. Why don't they just back it up to Labor Day?
That's a good question. I don't understand that either. They want to go up to possibly 2 preseason games and 18 regular season games. Training camp always starts the last week of July, so you're basically going to have like a month and a half with only 2 preseason games in there. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I don't know. I don't know why, but I think they're thinking they get more eyeballs in winter, which makes sense. You play games on Labor Day, people are out camping, doing all sorts of family events. February, people are cooped up in their house. They're going to watch football. So I'm pretty sure that's probably what they're thinking about.
There you go. You know, they say that the Daytona 500 is the Super Bowl of our sport, but it's not the Super Bowl. And what really will determine, it's all about the Super Bowl. We'll be back.
Super Late Model Racing returns to MIS Sunday afternoon, May 5th. The Joe Shear Classic 200. See the stars and cars of the ASA Midwest Tour. Battle on Wisconsin's fastest half mile for $15,000. Plus Midwest trucks. Advanced discount tickets at MISRacing.com. Hear the UW Band perform the national anthem. ASA Midwest Tour plus Midwest trucks. The Joe Shear Classic 200. It's the biggest race of the year. Sunday afternoon, May 5th. First race, 2 o'clock. Madison International Speedway. Don't miss it.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years, PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Time to win some bonus bucks. Bonus bucks. Listen for your chance to win $1,000.
Dollar bills yell. Listen for the keyword Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and enter it on our website, thebig920.com.
LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
The dirt track industry was dodging the storms all over the country this week, so we have a mismatch of results that we're able to get in. We'll start Tuesday night in Beaverham. They opened up their regular weekly program, which is now Tuesday nights for the second year in a row. In the IMCA Modifieds, Dan Radel was your winner. Stock cars went to Brandon Schmidt. Also Tuesday night in West Memphis, Arkansas, the Riverside International Raceway for the High Limit Sprint Car Series. Corey Day continued his early season domination of that series, picking up the win. Thursday night, Fountain City, Wisconsin, the Mississippi Thunder Speedway opened up their season. That is where the World of Outlaw Case Construction late models will be next weekend for their 3-day event. But Thursday night in the USRA Modifieds, Jim Chisholm was your winner, and the USRA Limited Lates went to Cade Nelson. Friday night, everything in the state of Wisconsin rained out. The World of Outlaw Sprints in Knoxville rained out. The late models were supposed to be running in Kansas and Oklahoma this weekend. They canceled those because of the severe weather. So the only event Friday night was in Georgetown, Delaware, for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. $19,049 to win. You'll say, what? That's a weird figure. Well, the track opened in 1949, so they were celebrating an anniversary there. Ricky Thornton Jr. grabbed the win. Did anybody watch that and notice Kyle Busch?
Led every lap.
Yeah, Kyle Busch was in the booth for that, and I thought he actually did a pretty good job. That's about the most relaxed I think I've ever heard him.
Yeah, and also James Essex, as great as he is, what an interesting pair that was to have Essex along with Rowdy. Wow.
Yeah, that was entertaining for a race that really wasn't all that entertaining. Last night, the Lucas Oil race at Hagerstown, Maryland was rained out, and the Knoxville World of Outlaw race was also rained out, so they did not get any World of Outlaw racing done in Knoxville this week. Plymouth opened their season last night, and they dodged the raindrops barely. They got the Grand National feature in with T.J. Smith getting the win, and the B-Mod feature in with Cole Thomas getting the win. The 360s and the Wisconsin Wingless Sprints events did not get in as the rains came. Francis Crick, the 141 Speedway, and the Modifieds, Cody Affelbeck was your winner. IMCA stock cars went to Mick Bakarma, and the Grand Nationals went to Greg Hayes. Shawano last night in the late models, Brett Swedberg grabbed the feature win. Modifieds went to Jason Sharapata, and the stock cars went to Trent Nolan. Out in New Richmond, Wisconsin, the Cedar Lake Speedway, the late models went to Kevin Burdick. Modifieds Jake Tim, and the USRA Limited Lates to Cade Nelson. Sumner, Illinois, the Red Hill Raceway for the MOWA 410 Sprint Cars, Carter Sarf was your winner. UMP Mods went to Will Krupp. Peoria, Illinois, the Mars Dirt Car Series opened up their series with a $5,098 to win race. Ryan Unsicker got the win after full race leader Brian Shirley broke with about 5 laps to go, handing the win to Unsicker. Port Royal, Pennsylvania, the Keith Kaufman Classic, $15,000 to win for the 410 Sprints. Anthony Macri was your winner. And in Maryville, Tennessee, at the Smoky Mountain Speedway, the Hunt the Front Dirt Late Model Series, $15,000 to win. Ryan Gustin grabbed the feature win there. And that is everything we have for this week. The Lucas Oil Series will be racing today on at Port Royal on Flow. If you want to check out some dirt late models today, I think the weather's supposed to be okay there for that.
Well, and from dirt to asphalt, we'll actually start with this because that's exactly what it was. Corey Day, after winning that high-limit race, went down to Hickory Motor Speedway, jumped into one of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s cars, and won at Hickory for the first time ever on asphalt.
Boy, that
amazing.
kid might be pretty talented, huh?
Might be. And then backing up the clock, we'll just kind of run through some other asphalt results. The Slinger season opener last Sunday, Jeff Holtz was your late model winner. The Midwest Tour started their season off at Slinger with the Super Lates, and Ty Majeski was the winner there. On Friday night, we had Anderson Speedway running a big event with the CRA, and James Swan made the trek down there for the CRA Street Stocks. He qualified 4th and finished 5th. Jeg CRA was running at Berlin. Blake Rowe was the winner there. And then also on Friday night, the first of the 2 Gulf Coast doubleheader super late models for the Southern Super Series 100. Stephen Nassy won at Five Flags on Friday. And then they ran at Mobile International Speedway last night, the Battle of the Bayou. Yeah, it was an armpit of a show. There was all sorts of wrecks. Nobody seemed to want to win, or at least they didn't want anybody else to win. There's a lot of stepping on units going on. But Cole Butcher ended up winning it by a whisker over Jake Finch. He won it by 2 1/1000ths of a second. My no-good brother-in-law, Bruce, got a really great photo right at the start-finish line, and you could see just how close that win was. It was pretty awesome, though, really. And then also last night at Grundy County Speedway, the Spring Classic, Big Eights were running, and Michael Bilderback was the winner there. And that's a wrap.
The opener at Slinger last week, I was able to watch it from Arizona, and it wasn't that great of a. You needed a caution late in that race. I still think that Ty would have won the thing, but it would have made it a hell of a lot more interesting than winning by half a lap. Dan, what was it like for you standing up on that roof?
Yeah, I got kind of strung out. I mean, we went the last 80 some laps, I think, went caution free. I think that's what I thought maybe when he got into traffic, he might hold Ty up, but he didn't. And there was some drama there where he had some damage on the hood while getting through traffic, but it didn't affect him. And a lot of people thought, that might have sprung some in there. But Max Kaler did a good job in second, and with Luke Fenhouse in third. And those guys are battling pretty hard for position. I don't know if it would have been a different story if they'd have been closer, to Majeski with a late caution. Ty might have been, Ty's not dumb. He's going to save something for the end in case he needs it. So
he was that good, and he was probably saving something besides. PJ, big news this week from the Snowball Derby. We're now looking at $50,000 to win.
Yeah, that is huge. And I haven't heard if the Bigley Memorial, which is the week before that, if they're going to up their purse. But either way, I got to believe that it's going to be close to $100,000 if one could win both of those races.
I thought I saw somewhere that somebody said they're going to go 60. It's almost like an auction. You need to get an auctioneer on here, you know.
Is that Bigley Memorial? That's the one at the Freedom Factory, right?
That is correct, yeah. And the other interesting little nugget with the Snowball Derby, it's no longer going to be carried by Racing America. Flow is taking over.
That's big.
The Snowball Derby now.
I mean, you want to talk about eyeballs on that race now? That is huge because Flow, I would say, is arguably the biggest of all the streaming services, probably by quite a bit. And for them to now get all those eyeballs on there, and you don't have to worry about buying a package for that weekend because you don't know what the weather's going to be. You just click on it and you'll be able to see the whole thing. That is cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. You go to that Freedom Factory thing every year, don't you, PJ?
Yeah, go to both of those.
I think I'll see you there.
All right.
We'll be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com. Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
If you follow the Packers, Badgers, Brewers, and Bucks, you should also be listening to the Larrabee and LePay podcast. Wisconsin's legendary sports broadcasters Wayne Larrabee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, and Matt LePay, the voice of Wisconsin Badgers football and men's basketball, share their insights and those of top guests on what's going on with your favorite teams. Listen to the Larrabee and LePay podcast, available anytime on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Presented by UW Credit Union, here for every you.
It seems to me, and I've thought this for a long time, that when they come out with nominees for the Hall of Fame, they should not have a minimum or a maximum amount of people that they want to put in. Well, probably a maximum, but not a minimum. And, you get to a point, NASCAR Hall of Fame is kind of a relatively newer Hall of Fame compared to other major sports, that we have the people in there that belong there now. Listen to the list of nominees for the modern era this time. Greg Biffle, no championships. Neil Bonnet, Jeff Burton, Carl Edwards, Harry Gant, Ricky Rudd, and Jack Sprague. Now, not one of them has a championship. Biffle has one in the trucks and one in Xfinity. Neil Bonnet has 18 wins. Jeff Burton, 21 wins. Carl Edwards, 28 wins and an Xfinity championship. Harry Gant, 18 wins. Ricky Rudd, 23 wins. Jack Sprague has 3 truck championships and 28 wins. It may not be their top division, but he's the winningest driver in whatever division he races in that group. That also does, however, include on the modern era Tim Brewer, who won 2 championships with Junior Johnson as a crew chief. Randy Dorton, who won 9 championships with Hendrick as the engine builder there, and Harry Hyde, who he did win a Cup championship as a crew chief in 1970. But, of course, he's like a legendary figure. Who are we picking off of that list? Do we have to put, a couple people in? How many is it, 2 or 3 or 4?
I think it's 2 off the modern and 1 off the legendary one.
Okay, so that list I just read to you, it seems to me Randy Dorton with 9 championships as an engine builder would be a good one. Tim Brewer makes some sense because he's won 2 championships with Junior Johnson. But, give me some. I think all the drivers that belong are already there. It seems like.
You can make a case for Neil Bonnet for doing the TV work and kind of being a pioneer there. He was one of the first drivers to switch over and become an announcer.
Yeah, true.
I think you could almost kind of to start to throttle this down a little bit. It was a new thing several years ago, so you had to build it up. But now you could kind of make it more similar to what they do in baseball, where some years baseball doesn't even induct anybody because the status quo are still there. Eventually we're going to be putting some of these guys who are winning a lot now in there. But for the time being here now, you just enjoy what you got instead of filling it full of a lot of people that, are maybe marginal inductees.
Well, since NASCAR likes to see what other sports are doing and mirror that, maybe they'll do that, Brian.
Yeah. That would make the most sense.
It would make the most sense. But championship, they like...
Wait, if it makes the most sense, then NASCAR probably won't do it. That's
exactly right. They do... try to value championships, and that's why I think it's, Sprague's 3 championships are kind of important of all those drivers on there. And Biffle has won 1 in truck and 1 in Xfinity. So, there are some legitimate champions that are there to be said. But, a Hall of Fame career, to me, all leads up to the Cup Series, even though it isn't all there. But I don't know. We don't need to put 5 or whatever people in. We can do 1 once in a while, or like Brian said, maybe like 0 occasionally. Last week, as I mentioned, Dan Margetta picked it correctly. He said Tyler Reddick was going to win at Talladega, and I'm positive that he thought for sure that Michael McDowell would have led the last how many laps and got taken out or took himself out, really, by trying to block Keselowski late in the race. Sure, that was part of his scenario there, but other than that, we're really not all that good. To me, today here at Dover, it's which Hendrick car is going to win. And I think he got over the hump, and I think it's going to be the 9 car of Chase Elliott going to win again. Dan, I'll put you up next.
All right. I'll stick along that line of the Hendrick car, and I'll go William Byron.
But, yeah, it seems like a
pretty I'm looking at Denny Hamlin.
Brian?
Yeah, you're going to leave Denny Hamlin out there for me. I'm going to take him. The Hendrick cars, they got one way up at the top, but the rest of them are, Bowman's 9th, but Chase is buried back in 29th. But no, I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. He's been doing good for me. I think I've picked him twice, and he's won twice.
Yeah, great. We'll quit picking him then. Peach?
I'm going with a Ford. I don't care what y'all say. I'm going with Ryan Blaney.
You would think it's just a matter of time, and he and Logano are going to start winning races.
You got a Noah Gragson sitting up there in 5th. Do you think can he hang on there all day?
No.
God, how about Chase Briscoe? That could be.
There's another one.
Boy, talk about needing to
Josh
win.
Berry, he's 12th. The Stewart Haas cars, we hammer on them, but they got 3 cars in the top 12. That's pretty good for them.
Qualifying, yeah. But, the talk is out there. Stewart told me himself that they're talking about selling one of their charters. Somebody over there is going to lose their ride. Who's it going to be?
Maybe they're auditioning for the 21, huh?
Yeah, how does he hang on? Well, maybe if Cindric loses his job, Tim Cindric, maybe Austin will be Briscoe seems to be the best driver of the bunch over there. I don't know. Hey, we do appreciate you tuning us in on Sunday mornings. It's really nice to be back in Wisconsin, too, let me tell you. I'm just enjoying this weather more than you can possibly imagine. And as we want everybody to remember, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our in-house engineer and website coordinator is Matt Losey. For all of us involved with the program, We appreciate our listeners, and we love you. We'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.